Hello everyone, welcome to the Holding Crypto channel. It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, 5:40 p.m. We're going to take stock of course on Bitcoin, we're going to watch the news, we're going to watch the economic calendar, and we're going to watch the altcoins. Let's settle in comfortably and start with this rather mixed crypto map. We have a Bitcoin that stabilizes at $62,000, so that's pretty good. Come on, let's start directly. So with this macroeconomic calendar, it's today that things get serious. Tonight at 8 p.m. we'll have the minutes of the Fed, so the report of the FOMC meeting. What will Jerome Powell tell us? Is he going to tell us that he still had in mind to lower interest rates in the US by 0.25 twice more, or is this speech going to change to prepare something else for us? We'll see. In any case, the recent figures that were given last week were rather positive from an unemployment point of view and other indices concerning inflation, so it smells rather good. All the same, we're not going to lie to each other but to watch very closely. And then we'll also have on Thursday, of course, other important indices concerning inflation as well as weekly unemployment registrations, so to watch very closely. So there, it's starting to get very serious on the calendar side between today and tomorrow, or even Friday too a little bit. Go to the news site, a lot of things. So already we started yesterday morning by analyzing the Dow Crypto. Nick Szabo, who surpasses Len Sasama as the Polymarket favorite for the revelation of the identity Satoshi Nakamoto on the HBO documentary. And yes, I had already told you about it some time ago. There is a documentary that will soon be released, and a priori in this documentary we should know from what they tell us the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. And so there were several people who had been stated as potentially an identity: Len Sasama, Adam Back, and Nick Szabo. And so now it's Nick Szabo who's in the lead, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it in the coming days, but it's true that when this documentary comes out it might be quite interesting to see how it goes. So maybe it's 100% bullshit. Maybe it's just to create buzz and to say that you have to watch the documentary, but in reality we won't learn anything at all. We'll see that in any case when this documentary comes out on HBO. So crypto détente that pushes us that BlackRock continues its intense promotion of Bitcoin and crypto assets by forcing that their adoption will be faster than that of the internet and mobile phones. So there we see it in the background. We had a video, well, I'm going to mute the sound, but we actually had a speaker from BlackRock who made a speech saying this. So it's interesting to see this side view of BlackRock anyway, which is a major player in the financial sector. The blockchain base that is now available on Phantom, so that is interesting for all those who want to make transactions on it. It opens up avenues. So Crypto.com is suing the SEC after receiving a notice from Wales, so which is a notice of imminent legal action from the American regulator. Although this is an unprecedented decision for our company to file a complaint against a federal agency, the actions of this agency towards our industry have left us with no other choice. And yes, we know that the SEC has hit hard on everything that moves on the crypto side in recent weeks and months. At some point it has to stop unless there are really certain things which are really not normal. But hey, the SEC, we know it with Gary Gensler, who is 100% anti-crypto. Well, we'll see what that will give, but after a while the SEC should also stop hitting everything. So what is good is that if ever the presidential election changes on the United States side, and if ever it is Donald Trump who could become president again, by the way, well, we already know that it will no longer be Gary Gensler who will be president of the SEC, and that suddenly, that is rather good. And we end with crypto détente, which shows us that the Securities and Futures Commission plans to issue licenses to 11 crypto exchanges awaiting registration. Hong Kong will thus grant licenses to more crypto platforms, so that is rather good sign. It would indeed allow to have still a lot of new regulated players, by the way, on the crypto market. So that is rather good, especially on the Hong Kong side. Indeed, we know that it could attract a lot of investors, so very good news that too. Let's start the technical analysis, but before, obviously, I remind everyone that everything I'm going to say in this video is in no way financial advice. It's up to you to do your own research, and don't forget that crypto trading involves risks of partial or major loss. So we have a Bitcoin that is blocking, we will say, on the zone of $62,000, so much the better, I want to say it is very good. We are still inside the $60,000, and that is excellent news, even if indeed we had a retracement in recent days. But look, it is perhaps doing what we had anticipated in the previous videos, that is to say the small double bottom. Look, we have the first bottom, the second bottom, which is slowly being put in place. We really hope that we will succeed in validating this type of pattern, because I remind you that it is a bullish reversal chart pattern. So there you see it perfectly here. We have the first ascending trough, the second trough which could be formed. So there the double bottom. In fact we will have to validate the break of 62,828 if we want to go for higher points, and above all moreover we will have to cross the resistance which is just above at 63,264, otherwise unfortunately we won't go higher than that. But in any case it's pretty good what we're putting in place. So of course once again it will depend on what will be said tonight on the Fed minutes with Jerome Powell, and of course the economic indices and geopolitics obviously to be watched closely as well of course. But in any case it's pretty good what we're putting in place. So I remind you of the rule. I remind you when we re-enter a range from below. So this is what was done here. So on September 18th you see this big purple box here, that was a range, we re-entered it here from below. What's happening? I actually told you when we re-entered. I told you watch out, let's calm down, we will come back to look for this key level no matter what. It's done. So this is what we call the pullback, and in general to validate a pullback we don't go back to the moon like that without stopping EH. No, it doesn't work like that in cryptocurrencies and in trading by the way. More generally when we reintegrate we do the pump, we retrace to do the pullback, then behind we double bottom to effectively start a bullish recovery phase. In general we never go to the moon like that. We always form a bullish pattern, so a double bottom or a cup and handle or an inverted head and shoulders, something like that, and there indeed we could revive. So there we would have one of these patterns there, so perhaps this double bottom which would allow Bitcoin to revive to go and find the middle of the range at 64,464, and why not break all the resistances and go and find points higher. In any case that's what we hope. I always stay on my line that we could have something very strong in October, and in any case I will always stay on this line as long as we are above the pivot point of 60,777. I remind you that this is this key level that we will have to maintain if we want to keep an upward trend, a trend that we can see perfectly here with increasingly high lows and increasingly high highs. So for the moment no particular problem on the side of our Bitcoin, but you have understood, be careful whatever happens if we start to cross 60,777, then yes there this upward trend could indeed be in danger, but for the moment it is not the case, and in addition to that we are perhaps in the process of forming something bullish. Next resistance to come and hit, so I give them to you again, 63264, 64464. Moreover look at this resistance, it is going to hurt us. This resistance has already hurt us very much the day before yesterday with a surgical rejection placed precisely on this resistance. So there you have understood it, we will need strength if we want to break this resistance. But in any case if we succeed we will go for the 65,535, then after the 66,956 before going to get the 68,277 and then the 69,005 and finally the top of the range. So there you have understood, we still have a lot of things to come and get. From a long-term point of view we must not forget that we have a Bitcoin which is still in a very nice bull flag, which for the moment is not validated, but we see it perfectly here with this gigantic flag. And well, in fact in general this type of pattern, let's not forget that it tends to want to burst from the top, so we wait. We know that it always takes its time, we know that you must not be in a hurry when trading, we know it, these are basic rules that I keep hammering into you throughout my videos, we know all that, so suddenly all that remains is to apply all these rules and have confidence in what we buy, because obviously when we buy something in cryptocurrency it is because we are in minimum informed on it. Then, I also remind you that there we saw 4H, well, we have tightened Bollinger Bands indeed, and above all what we will have to do is at least go back above 62,245, which will be the next small resistance to recover. I remind you that if we reintegrate this range from below the goal would be to go and get the top of the range afterwards. Be careful, intermediate resistance still 63,264, but if we reintegrate, boom, in the idea we should go and get the top of the range, break this range from above, which would allow us to validate the double bottom, which I was talking to you about earlier, and regain strength to go and get points higher. The theoretical target of this double bottom we can calculate it together because it is there, this target. Here is the theoretical target 67,202. Be careful, once again it is a theoretical target, there are intermediate resistances that could reject us, so let's be extremely careful. Now there on the Bitcoin side we see it, we are currently in view 4H just below, but exactly the ribbon of under, the moving average ribbon, so there we will absolutely have to, as I told you, reintegrate this range from below, which would allow us to recover the moving average ribbon. Now if we manage to go back above the ribbon that would be very good news, because in general when we are above the ribbon it is to regain strength. So there you have understood on the Bitcoin side, we still have several key levels that we will absolutely have to recover. For the moment we are not succeeding too much, but it does not matter, we will simply wait to see if we succeed. In any case we know our key levels to break, we will monitor all that. Come on, we will now move on to the altcoins part. We will start with the Shiba. It's been a while I haven't told you much about the Shiba. On the Shiba side, so you know when Bitcoin does something in general it is reflected on the altcoins, and so there, we see that our Shiba reflects the double bottom. Look at that, first bottom, second bottom, it is much cleaner and above all it is not far from being validated on the Shiba, so if ever we really want to regain strength we have no choice, we will have to exceed 0.018127, that is the key level that we will have to cross, if we want to regain strength and validate this double bottom pattern. Be careful, if we validate this pattern we could actually have a theoretical target at plus 13%, which would be here the resistance of 0.020269. Big resistance, be careful, and especially in the intermediate we would have another big resistance here at 0.019035, so let's be extremely careful. But in any case it's true that from a chartist point of view it's not bad what it's forming for us. On the RSI side we also find our double bottom that I explained to you earlier. We have it here on the chart and on the RSI, so that's not bad. We have an RSI which is also at 59, so we are in a slight overbought but we still have room to do something. So it's true that it's interesting to watch the Shiba. I don't know if it will be validated or not, besides no one in the world can know, but in any case it's not bad. On the RSR side it's a crypto nugget that I had already told you about a few days ago. It also reflects the double bottom, but besides look at this, all the cryptos, we can look at all the cryptos in general. They reproduce more or less the same pattern, so we find here you see it, we have the double bottom here, there are certain graphs where we see it more than others, so there you go, it's this one especially that we have to anticipate and what we really have to check, but in any case, there are some cryptos that are really very clean from a configuration point of view, so there we were just seeing before, so the RSR also, which therefore reproduces the W bottom of Bitcoin, you see it here. So on the RSR side we have no choice. We will have to cross the resistance which is here at 0.007071 if we want to regain strength. There too it's the same, it's a big resistance. If we break we could why not go for the 0.007463, and if we break this key level just above the head we have the 0.007671, which will be a big resistance level, and if we cross then yes, in this case we could go up to 0.008266 or even points higher. The Atom Cosmos, we haven't heard much about it for a long time. We're going to take stock of it. So on the side of the crypto Atom Cosmos we are indeed still in a consolidation phase. Here you can see it, so it's a range that we had crossed from the bottom here, which was not necessarily good news, but we ended up reintegrating, and so much the better. Well, on the other hand the problem is that there you can see on the side of the atom we are not making higher and higher high points. We have higher and higher low points but no higher and higher high points. On the contrary, higher and lower high points. So there on the other hand we don't really see the double bottom. There you can see it, we don't see this pattern, so that's a bit of a shame. Now we absolutely must not cross 4.255, otherwise it would be synonymous with a new bearish push. On the other hand, if we ever manage to break the ribbon, the middle of the Bollinger Bands here at 4.665, this would allow us to regain strength to go and get why not the top of the range here at 5.356. In Dave Usa to watch. On the other hand, from an RSI point of view, there it is true that we are starting to see a small double bottom, so we will see. In any case, on the RSI side we would have to manage to break the 52, so well we are not there yet, but interesting to watch. On the Solana side, we also obviously see our double bottom again. Anyway, I told you when Bitcoin does something all our altcoins follow the movement, it's just that there are certain altcoins that will have a much cleaner movement than others. So it's this one that we really have to check rather than the others, because it's mainly these ones that will be able to do something. In any case, in theory, on the Solana side, so there too we see that it's rather clean. On the double bottom side, look at the first bottom, maybe the second bottom, we absolutely have to cross 146.5 here, so for the moment we're not there yet, but if we manage to break that, in this case it could be nice, because I remind you of the rule of breaking the double bottom line in the given time scale. So we are in day view, that would allow us to push to go get its target, so for us it's a target at plus 7.25, which would theoretically allow us, I insist theoretically, to go for the 156.22. Watch out for two intermediate resistances, 148.08 and 153.04. On the other hand, if we actually break these resistances we could continue to push to go for the top of the range at $160. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. It greatly contributes to the referencing of my YouTube channel, and I just have to wish you a good day. I tell you, maybe see you later for a next video. Ciao ciao.